Hi everyone, it's Miss Kelly from the Wakanda Area Library. Today I'm going to show you what we're doing with this month's Art to Go. So this month you'll be making a gnome, and in your kit you're going to find a triangle of wood, some faux fur, some sandpaper, a paintbrush, a little pom-pom for a nose, and two different colors of paint. Everybody's going to get white. This one's got blue in it, but the other color is going to vary. You'll need some scissors and some glue. I'm using this liquid glue that'll dry really fast, but you can even use a glue stick. It'll work fine. I'm just using this so you can see quickly how it's going to turn out. Remember when you're painting to cover your work surface and make sure that you're wearing clothes that are okay to maybe get a little bit of paint on. So with that, let's get started. So you're going to take your triangle and you're going to first take your sandpaper and check. The edges might be a little rough. Be careful, don't rub your fingers on it too much. You could get a little splinter. You're going to take it and just kind of go down the sides. Just check. All right. From cutting it, there might be just some little curly cues left on there, or little rough spots. So you can take those off, okay? And then check and see if the front and the back are smooth. Mine seem pretty good. Okay, and then before you paint, make sure you dust all that sawdust off from sanding. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start with my white, and I am going to paint one whole side of the triangle. You have plenty of white paint in there. If you want, you can paint both sides, the front and the back, but I'm just going to do one. Just make sure you get the whole thing. Some of the wood, there's going to be differences in all the wood. Some of them have little like knots in the wood or like little spots like that. It's kind of fun. It gives it different character. If you don't like them to show, you're going to need to paint over the whole thing, and then you can kind of see, you can see through the white. If you let it dry, you might be able to go over it again. And we're going to add some color to it, so it'll cover it. But don't worry about like these little splits from the knots in the wood. The natural little imperfections kind of make it a little bit more neat. Remember, gnomes are creatures of the woods, so it's kind of cool to have that in there. All right, then you're going to go ahead and finish this all the way down to the bottom. I've got one that I've already finished painting and it's dried, so let's swap that out and we'll let this one finish drying over here. It's kind of fun too when you're painting with this. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you want to cover all of it because you are going to put the beard on it, but you will be able to see some of the wood through a little bit, so try and go all the way down. There we go. If you find that you're having a hard time getting in there, you're going to kind of have to wiggle it in. That's from the cut surface of the wood. It's harder to get it in there. There you go. Okay, let's put that one over here and let it dry. Now I've got one over here that I've already painted and it's already dried. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is decide what kind of pattern I want to put on here. You don't have to do any pattern. If you want to just paint his hat blue, this is going to be his hat up here. If you want to just paint it blue, you can, or whatever color you have, the solid color, you can paint it. You can put polka dots on it. You can change it any way you want. But what we're going to do is you're going to make sure it's completely dry before we get to this step. You're going to take your little beard and see where it's wide enough. You want to make sure it reaches all the way from side to side. So if you see, if I go down here, doesn't quite make it all the way to both sides. So you're going to go up on the triangle to where it meets right here. Some of you find you might have to trim it. It could be too wide if it's a little bit wider. If you want to put it, up here and it's still wider, you can always trim it off. But I'm going to go right where it's making that natural mark. And I'm going to take a pencil and go right across a light line at the top of it there. Okay. It doesn't have to be really perfect. I just need like kind of a mark where I can see where it's going to go. All right. And then I think I'm going to maybe make polka dots on this. So since the white is completely dry now, I can start with my pattern. So if you want, you can draw your pattern on there, but I'm just going to kind of freehand it. Let's make little dots. Now this is going on, most of the paint is going to go on kind of light like this on top of the white. So you can, if you want, do 2 coats. Let this dry completely before you put another coat on it, because it'll get a little sticky and bumpy. All right. Like I said, you can go ahead and finish the whole thing and make any kind of design you want. So I'll go ahead and finish that one later. I've got one already here that I finished the pattern on and it's dry. Here's one, I did stripes, and you can see I stopped at that line right there, and that is where my beard is going. You can see right there, okay? Looks perfect right there. And you can see on this one, this beard looks like it might be a little wide, but what I'm gonna do is glue it down first. I'm gonna put right where I want that beard to go. I wanna put just a line of glue here. I'm not gluing this whole section here. all the way down because I want it to move a little bit, but I'm going to do a little bit longer than that. All right. So make sure, it's important that your beard is growing in the direction that's going to go down. So this is going to be the top of his hat. You want the beard to go down like that. You don't want to put it this way because it'll, okay. Be careful, try not to get any glue in his beard hair. It'll get clumpy. All right, now if you can see how it covers all the way over, but I do have a little bit extra over here on the side. So I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that right off. You don't have to trim it perfectly because you're going to let that hair is going to kind of flow over the sides anyway. Keep going down, so I'm kind of moving the hair out of the way to cut that off. Now after you cut this, always go through and pull out any loose pieces you might have gotten because some of the pieces will come off like that too. All right, so now that I've got my beard on there and it's covering the whole thing, I'm going to add his nose. So again, right here in the center. So just remember, it's really important to make sure each coat of your paint dries before you move on to the next or before you're ready to add his beard. We don't want to get paint kind of smeared all over or in the beard. And you're going to add his little nose. And you can kind of fluff his beard up. There he is. All right, I hope you guys have fun. Send me some pictures so I can see your finished gnome and keep an eye out for next month's art to go. Bye.